Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Build Brand Loyalty, Marketing Membership to Rehab Clients. I'm Marianne Murphy, the Director of Marketing here at the Medical Fitness Association. I'd like to take a brief moment to introduce today's presenter, Christy Brown. Christy is the Director of Enterprise Marketing at Club Automation. And in full disclosure, Club Automation supports MFA as an industry partner. As the Director of Enterprise Marketing for Dexco, a B2B SaaS company serving the health and wellness industry, Christy leads a team of brand managers who oversee market growth strategies for the company's enterprise brands, including Dexco, Club Automation, MotionSoft, CSI Spectrum, Group X Pro, and PlayerSpace. Together, her team collaborates with creative demand generation experts to build brand messaging and marketing campaigns that help achieve company sales, retention, and influence goals. Christy has worked in the fitness industry for over 4 years, and before that, brings marketing insight from her experience working in a wide range of industries from manufacturing to entertainment. Now, a copy of today's presentation slides can be found in the handout section of your toolbar. If you have any questions as we move through today's webinar, please type your questions in the questions section of your toolbar, and all questions will be answered at the end in the order they were received immediately following this presentation. Okay, Christy, take it away.
Thank you, Marianne, and thank you everyone for joining. I'm very excited to be presenting to you all today around building brand loyalty. Like Marianne said, please put your questions into the chat. I'd love to answer them. We'll have time at the end to dig in, but if any pop up that makes sense for me to answer on the fly, I'll be sure to do it. Like she said, I'm the Director of Enterprise Marketing at Club Automation, so I've been working in the fitness industry for the last 4 years, particularly around the software side. So I'm excited to dig in around marketing memberships to rehab clients. It's going to be a pretty interactive example that we'll walk through today. So I just wanted to call out everything that we talked through. There'll be some action items at the end that you guys can go implement on your side as well. So let's dig in. First thing is I kind of wanted to paint the picture and the inspiration for why we decided to talk around this topic. We know that fitness is essential. The pandemic really kind of pushed fitness to the forefront and really encouraged consumers to prioritize their health. We know that the usage is still recovering, but fitness is more essential than ever, and medical fitness associations and medical fitness centers are poised well to speak to that value promise, not just of fitness, but overall wellness and health. Some trends that my team put together here is that 82% of consumers regularly exercise or soon plan to. 75% of those do gym-like activities. So while the pandemic did impact check-ins, revenue, growth overall, we're seeing over the last year really strong growth and recovery because the demand is there. Members are wanting it. They not only are prioritizing exercise, but they are prioritizing going and finding that community, finding a location to do that activity. So gym usage is on the rise. So what does that mean for everyone joining us today? It means that you want people to choose your rehab, you want people to choose your facility over another fitness offering. And we're going to dig in really deeply into rehab clients today because that's an audience that you already have. Everything that I talk through is something really an outline or a playbook that you can replicate for many other audiences. But in the grand scheme of marketing, you want to make sure you're dialing in. So we're dialing in on rehab clients today. You want rehab clients to choose you and what's in your way. And one thing that we've seen pretty consistently in talking to medical fitness associations, MFA, is that a lot of you all are really responsible for multiple hats. You're responsible for membership and maybe billing and maybe helping keep up the facility. But on top of that, you're also responsible for marketing. And if you don't have a focus in on marketing, you might be kind of scratching your head about what to do. So We're going to be talking today about building brand loyalty and really digging into marketing memberships to rehab clients. We chose this audience because, like I said, it's an audience that you already have information on. You already have a baseline membership. So while we say retaining, I would say this is essentially also an upsell conversation. So really what our audience here is anyone who has come been referred to your facility because of maybe a treatment plan, physical therapy, and they're wanting to have a long-term relationship with your facility as their gym home. So I'm going to walk us through essentially a 4-step plan that my team uses on the marketing team at Daxco and Club Automation, but really just gives you a solid process to advocate and think through your marketing campaign. Rehab clients are going to be our example that we'll talk through, but like I said, we can apply this process to many different avenues. So the first is going to be establishing your strategy. More often than not, if I had to guess, many of you are like, okay, we need to drive membership, and we try to throw together an email or put together a quick ad and send it out the door because we want to have quick wins and we want to have results as soon as possible. One thing that I struggle with as someone who likes to see results quickly is taking the time to sit through and really map out strategy. But when you do so, you're really preparing your team and to see the results that you want. So what is a marketing strategy? There are many different levels of variations, but I'm going to talk you through some pre-planning questions that can help you really focus in to map it out, and we'll walk through an example. So the first is, what are you trying to accomplish? More often than not, you're going to say, we are trying to drive membership revenue, or we're trying to drive an increase in retention. But really taking the time to dig into what are you ultimately trying to do? What action are you trying to get a rehab client to take with you? And then the second is, why are we doing this? Why are we prioritizing this over another audience? What is the benefit of doing this campaign? What is our current state? So how well are we doing this already? What have we done in the past that we need to improve on? Where can we really dial in because of the opportunity? What are our competitors doing? And then finally, what is our strategy? So I'm going to talk us through an example here and really put some light to this. So let's go through this example. One, what are you trying to accomplish? With this today, we are trying to retain rehab clients after their required treatment plan. And why we are doing this is that often they should be a lower cost per acquisition of a new member, because these prospects have prior knowledge or pre-established knowledge of your facility and brand. They've come to you all for some physical therapy. They want to continue their health journey. So really, they are less expensive than getting a net new member into the door. What is our current state? So currently, we direct our marketing spend towards paid ads for net new members. And our focus on rehab conversions have been passive word of mouth from PTs. We see 50 new rehab clients a month, and on average, 3 to 5 of those turn into permanent members each month. But we see a 60% higher conversion on those who use the facility free one time. So really taking the time to see, okay, how many rehab clients do we have? What is our potential TAM to go and acquire new members? How many of them are actually converting? And of those who do, why are they converting? In this example, many of them are converting at a higher rate because they get to use the fitness facility for free. This is an example, I think, taking the time to write this down and what the reality is for your association helps you get to what your strategy should be. Next is, what are our competitors doing? I just pulled some competitor ads off some sites based off of what's available where I am located. So you guys know who your competitors are. I just wanted to pull in here, but a consistent theme when I pulled up general fitness competitors is some sort of zero enrollment or zero joiner fee. While the zeros might seem attractive, really what they're trying to do is offer up a free opportunity for someone to use the facility before they join long term. We see the competitors doing it, and we think that, hey, we know that our conversion rate is higher when they do use the facility, so they start to kind of piece this opportunity together and get to the end result, which in this example, our strategy would be to offer free access to our facility for up to 2 months following their treatment plan. You can see how the strategy really, we came to our strategy based off of doing research and based off of really understanding what the current lay of the land is and how we can really move the needle on a potential audience. This free facility for 2 months might not land well for someone who is completely new audience that does not have a pre-established relationship with you all. But giving the people an opportunity to come in and test out and build that loyalty beyond the rehab treatment plan could work. So now that you have your strategy, how do you get it out to the masses? So next step is going to be to nail your message. More often than not, you're going to see messages, and you saw this in the competitor example. They are pushing out free. They're pushing out the word free or zero. That might entice people, doesn't necessarily produce a long-term loyal customer. And we're talking about building brand loyalty and really having a long-term member that stays beyond the 30, 60, 90 days. So let's dig into nail your messaging as phase 2. So you know your strategy is you know what your strategy is, but how do you communicate that? How do you get people to act and take action? We at the team for Club Automation, we implement outcome-driven messaging. And what that means is that you're talking to a customer's outcomes versus the features or the product that you are trying to promote. For example, instead of saying, hey, we have 15 fitness classes, you're not leading with that. You're leading with, hey, you have more opportunity and more options for finding your health journey. So what does outcome-driven messaging really look like? Well, first, how you approach it is you're going to start with your target audience. You need to know who you are talking to, who you are trying to dial in on. And in this example, like I said, we're talking about rehab clients who want and need long-term wellness solutions. They've had tremendous success with their treatment plan, but now they need to find a home to continue on their health journey long-term. When we say, what are they trying to achieve? What outcomes are they trying to achieve? Really, what is their ultimate why for coming into a gym? One could be improving overall health. Another could be to work out more frequently. They have issues with being consistent and they need to have a more frequent workout schedule. One could be they need a decreased risk of injury while working out. They've just come from a rehab treatment plan and they know that they're at risk, so they need to feel confident that they're not going to be knocked back in their recovery. And then one is easily managing memberships online. They know that they are all about convenience. We are in the age of being able to order food on a whim. I did so this morning. And we know that that is a lot of what our members are demanding and what they're looking for out of a relationship with a fitness facility. So taking the time to map out and think through those. I would say as a marketer, I know that you aren't going to have all the time in the world to do research. Ideally, in a perfect state, you'd be able to research and ask questions of your members and questions of your prospects to have a deeper understanding of them. But you guys know your people, you know the members in the door. It's a quick conversation, but taking the time to map out the outcomes is really going to be the best first starting point when you're trying to nail the message to your audience. And once you do it once, outcomes stay consistent. So it's not something that you'll have to reinvent the wheel on all the time. It's a good exercise for your team to do together. The next is going to be to map out your outcomes or their outcomes to your services. So how do you help them achieve each of these outcomes? So in this example, improve overall health. It could be, hey, we have an on-site personal trainer. We have a 15% discount for on-site nutrition consultants. We have a customized workout plans for ongoing recovery. All of those feed up into this outcome of how you help your members improve overall health. For work out more frequently, you could say we have 15 plus daily group fitness classes. So you have a lot of options to choose from. Weight and cardio room. We have virtual classes available via our app. All of these help your members work out more frequently. Decrease risk and injury. You might have a rehab specific machines or quick access to on-site PTs in case they do have an injury, knowing that they can quickly get help, or easily manage memberships online. Depending on what system you're using, you can have all group classes can be booked via an app. Member billing information can be managed online. Maybe they can purchase additional programs and services via an app or via an online portal. Again, taking the time to map out, the outcomes that they're trying to achieve and how you help them do that with your services. You also want to do market research when you're building out your messaging, because it doesn't matter how wonderful your messaging is going to be if it doesn't work on the interwebs. It has to land, it has to rank. So if you're creating content, if you're creating something that is going to be livable online, it needs to rank on the SEO search. So finding keywords that are related to your outcomes and really finding out which are the ones that you want to focus in on. Maybe what are the ones focused in on your region, your area. Then you're going to be able to combine those and weave those into your overall value proposition, so that you know that the words you're using in your copy are going to really give you the baseline to rank highly online. And then you work through some example positioning. Something that my team does is we will actually map out example positioning for a whole campaign. And then that will give us a baseline to pull from different types of deliverables, whether that be an email, a push notification, a message inside the product, a message on an ad. But we have a baseline to allow us to run quicker on our campaign. So we're not sitting down and rewriting an email or rewriting an ad every time we go. So let's walk through this example. One thing I want, as I'm reading through it, take time. I've underlined where we've called out those outcomes, but think about how we've reframed this conversation to be less about your facility and more about the member and what they're trying to achieve. So we're so glad you've chosen Health South for your rehab journey. As your rehab wraps up, it can be overwhelming to figure out how to build on your recovery. An ideal gym would have robust offerings and also be conscious of your rehab progress. We want to help you keep your recovery momentum going. That's why we are excited to offer you 2 months of free membership to our Health South fitness facility. With over 15 plus daily group fitness classes, world-class cardio room, and quick access to on-site PTs, you can establish a workout routine that's custom to your needs. Plus, you're already familiar with our easy online portal, which lets you manage your memberships online. Use the QR code below to redeem your free membership in our facility today. So really some things I want to call out here. You're not completely negating what you offer to your members. You're calling out that 15 plus daily group fitness classes and your world-class cardio room and your quick access to PTs. But you are leading with the outcome that you're able to deliver for them, which is robust offering, conscious of their health progress so that they're able to make sure that they decrease the risk of injury. Manage your membership online, establish a workout routine. You're tying that into your messaging to make sure you are catching their attention and hopefully increasing their conversion. Step 3 is going to be determine effective channels. So you know your strategy, we're offering them that 2-month free membership. You've determined your messaging, you're really leading with outcome-driven messaging. The next is going to be what's the most effective channel to communicate. There are multiple different channels of marketing that you can leverage, and I will say every single different generation and and not just generation, segments of the population communicate with people differently. So it can feel really overwhelming to know which one is the right channel to send it through. And I will say, I'm going to give you a good baseline to process that. Doesn't mean that this is the end all be all. There's different use cases for different channels. But one thing I want to talk us through is really thinking through, where is your audience in the buyer's journey and which channels do they interact with you? So what's the buyer's journey? Buyer's journey is really a tool that you can use to identify where a prospect is in their relationship with you. Not everyone is in the decision phase. Not everyone is aware of what you have to offer, and maybe they're in the consideration phase. What a pitfall that I've seen of smaller marketing teams, when it may be a marketing team of one, or just they're newer to the marketing scene, is assuming that everyone is in the decision-making phase. They are really hitting them hard with a buy now, choose now, act now. But a lot of times you need to take time to move them through the funnel and move them from really just hitting them, to let them know that you even exist. Let them know about your offerings and the outcomes that you drive. Really engage them in content in this consideration phase, and then move them to a decision phase at the end. So here's an outline that is kind of a baseline of maybe some of the tactics that you can leverage in each section of the buyer's guide. This is not an end-all be-all rubric, but it can give you a first stab. So for example, a paid ad is likely more used in the awareness phase. If someone searches fitness facility near me, a paid ad is going to, for your fitness facility, will rank higher because of the paid effort. That helps meet people when they are doing the search on their own. They're not necessarily searching for your medical fitness facility. They're just searching for a fitness facility, and you've hit them. SEO, making sure that you're ranked high in local SEO searches. Have a social media presence, and also directory listings. I will say I use my Maps app more than anything to find things where I am, and that's an example of a directory listing. If you're listed on Google as a company, making sure you can be easily accessed via your address and your website, where your reviews all in one spot would be listed on your directory listing. The next is going to be the consideration phase. So this is where content marketing and reputation management get a little bit more heavy. Content marketing is highly influential to make sure that you rank high on that SEO perspective. But this gives people who are now aware of your fitness facility an opportunity to learn a little bit more about what they could gain from a membership with you. So you could do blogs, you could do success stories about customers who started at your facility because of a treatment plan at your rehab facility, or with a PT, and now they have been a member for 5+ years and are loyal to continuing on their health journey. That content marketing puts more of a face to the name, and content is king. That people are influenced by stories. Reputation management is all about getting those reviews from people and making sure you have high reviews. There's a hot debate of whether or not SEO and reputation management, which one is more important, because you might rank higher, but if you only have 2 stars and the person right below you has 5 stars, I would say now more than ever, those reviews, that reputation management is highly influential for decision making. Email marketing, this is getting them a little bit more involved in your offerings. It's not necessarily asking them to make the decision yet, but it's an avenue to engage with them. And then experiential marketing. So that's pretty broad. In this example, I'm tying it in here for that free offering. That 2 months of getting to go to your facility is really an experience that's allowing them to get to know your brand more and experience it. And then decision marketing. So you want to make sure that if anyone lands on your website or if they're in your app, they can quickly make decisions and find how to get to that point of sale. So if someone is they've decided, hey, I want to join, it has to be easy for people to join. It has to be easy for people to quickly navigate your website. It's a tool to drive revenue. It is not necessarily an encyclopedia of all the things your company offers. Marketing automation, scaling consistent outreach. Hey, someone's moved out of the consideration phase. They're pretty in the decision-making phase. They haven't made that commitment. How can you automate some of those marketing messages to really to hit them at the right point to make them have a decision? And then I put email in here again because email kind of straddles the line between consideration and decision. So in this example, I want to focus in on the email marketing, experiential marketing, website app, and then marketing automation. So let's take a quick look at this example we have here. So first is an awareness stage. I actually moved the app up to the awareness stage in this example because let's say they are a member or they've been coming to you all as a Rehab client and they already had the app because you had them do that when they first started their treatment plan. Use push notifications, use that avenue to get in front of them to say, hey, just a reminder, you have a free membership offering, or we have a class that you are welcome to come to coming up following your treatment plan. Don't forget, you have the 2 months free. Let's come tour the facility. The next is consideration stage. So we're so glad you've chosen Health Staff for your rehab journey. This is really leveraging that full talk track in an email, getting them to take that step. Hey, consider us, consider what this could look like. And then that decision stage. So in this example, we're leveraging an AI assistant, that marketing automation, really helping make sure there's consistent messaging. And I would say that decision stage takes place with the AI messaging once someone comes into the facility. So you've gotten them aware that they have a free offering in this awareness stage. You've gotten them to actually come into the facility by giving them that QR code. They've come in, they've started using it for free. And this decision stage is hitting them to convert them to a long-term member all along that journey. And then the last is going to be review and improve. You've had this campaign mapped out, it's been running. What gets measured gets managed. So just launching a campaign and hoping it goes to the masses is not an effective way to continue to advocate for marketing's impact. Often it is difficult to prove out impact of marketing if you are not reporting on all of the ways that you are driving success. And this is a very tangible campaign where you're trying to push rehab people to be a long-term member. So making sure you're reviewing and improving is essential. So first things first, your campaign will only be as effective as it is, as how data-driven it is. Has to have a data-driven approach. So making sure you have clean data is essential. Having some sort of data cleanup campaign or SOPs around how to enter in member data to make sure you're capitalizing on those emails. You have to do it. There are services that will update it for free. If that's not something you're considered in, there are ways that you can establish ongoing practices to make sure that you are you're keeping it up to date so that when you launch a campaign, it's landing in the right in the right inbox. And then taking that data to really be strategic in your targets. It is very tempting to really create one email and assume that's going to land for every single audience. You have to build out a strategic target list and send it out to a very targeted audience. You did the work to build out the outcomes. Make sure that it's speaking to the right audience. So don't just do the send to the masses approach, and then prove out your impact. One of the things that we have towards the end is a business case resource that if this is something you want to do, but you just don't have the resources to go execute on it, we have a template that we'll send out with the recording that will actually walk your team through how to make a business case and prove out your impact so that you can get the resources needed to drive the results that you want to see. But having that consistent data-driven approach is really essential. Scale with technology. Gosh, the number of things I've done in my time over the years that I know could be done with a software system or any sort of technology is infuriating. But I know that we all have this idea of wanting to be as active and as on top of it as possible, because you need to capitalize on interest. If someone comes into your facility and they've used your facility for free for 2 months, but you aren't able to follow up with them to convert them, you're doing a lot of work to move them through the funnel, but you're not acting on that decision-making phase. So making sure you're direct and prompt, persistent, personalized is very challenging if you don't have something to scale. This stat here says 48% of staff will never follow up with a prospect, which is so infuriating. You've done the work to get them interested and move them down the pipeline. My team actually uses an AI assistant that we actually also sell, but we have the benefit of using it as a tool to reach out to our own prospects. So Lauren Coleman is our AI assistant, and we leverage that to help scale our sales team to make sure we are being prompt and persistent and never losing out on the interest and the effort that we've done at the beginning of the funnel. And then the last one is always be testing. Always be testing. There are so many different ways to test and make sure you can improve. In this example here is actually an email that we sent out of making it look more marketing driven or making it look a little bit more personalized. This is an opportunity for you to see what works. You can test down to the color of a button, the color of a link, always being iterative and challenging what you assume is going to work because it's worked in the past is essential. You always want to be evolving your campaigns, evolving your tactics down to some pretty small steps, because a small change to a color of a button can really make an impact on the click-through rate, or a small change to a design of an ad that you're paying for can really make the change on an overall conversion. So this is something that our team meets on weekly. We plan out different areas of our upcoming campaigns that we can test out and have A/B testing. And really, it's an opportunity to be iterative, to be experts in our crafts, and continue to grow. And with that, I'm going to open it up to questions because I've talked a lot, but I want to hear what you all have to say. I would just say we talked through a lot, but really taking the time to use those 4 steps as a template for you to walk through with your team, or if you're a team of 1 with yourself, and answer all those questions, I think will really be a strong tool to have effective marketing campaigns that really retain and move people through the funnel.
That is awesome, Christy. Thank you so much. So we have a question from James, and he says, how do you get past the protected health information hurdle? Huge hurdle in this industry. We can give PT, the what?
You broke up. Can you repeat that?
Sure. How do you get past the protected health information hurdle? We can give PT certificates to rehab graduates, but we can't access their PT files.
That's a great question. I think that is something that you would need to really deeply collaborate on from a legal standpoint. I think knowing that they have been a PT participant gives you the baseline of knowing an outcome that they're trying to drive. They're trying to continue that health. They're trying to move that growth forward. You might not be able to get to that level of detail, and that's okay, but looking at it from a higher outcome of continued recovery can help really drive that messaging.
Yeah, James added that they provide certificates to physical therapy, but they don't have access to client contact information.
Okay. If that's the case, I would talk with your leadership to see if there are ways to have access to that. There may be an opportunity with the business case that we'll share of making a business case for why that should be a a list that you have access to and the ways in which you plan to keep it private. I think that it's essential to advocate for those opportunities.
Great. And he says, thank you. So Manthan wants to know, do you find that the free membership offer as part of the handoff process creates less urgency and buy-in for these rehab graduates?
I think every so let me back up. This is an example. I think that every person on this call should use those questions that I have to determine if the free offering is even right. If conversions are not working for your facility, do not use that strategy. Taking the time to map out if conversions are working is important. If they're not, then cut that out. Determine a different strategy. From my experience, the free offering gives them an opportunity to learn more about what you offer. They may not even know you have the offering, and if they're already coming because of their treatment plan, it's an easy opportunity for them to learn more. It's that really nailing them in that consideration phase rather than just trying to get them to the decision phase, giving them more opportunity to have that brand loyalty built.
Okay, so Jeanette has a question. If your business is fairly new, do you focus on one social media platform and then add other platforms once you get used to marketing? Or do you try to be on all social media platforms right away?
That's a great question. You need to know where your members are or where your prospects are, and then focus in on that channel. In an ideal state, you would have a presence across all channels. And I think it's important to at least establish a presence so that if someone, to the point of a directory listing, if someone looks up your gym on Instagram and can't find it, that kind of lowers the credibility that you're able to meet their needs. But as far as consistent ongoing posting, prioritize where your members are. If you're targeting prospects that are maybe an older generation, keep up with Facebook. If you're trying to hit Gen Z, really focus in on TikTok, and having that research done is going to help you prioritize.
That's great. Yeah, we found, I mean, the Medical Fitness Association is on a bunch of social media platforms, but we've probably found that LinkedIn has been our most responsive, but it doesn't mean that we have taken away those others. We've kept up with all of them. So
definitely.
And she says, thank you. So I'm not seeing any more questions. If anybody is typing in, I will thank you, Christy, for sharing your knowledge with us today. This was great. All attendees will receive an email with a speaker evaluation for today's webinar, and it includes a spot to indicate which CEC you would like to receive. So please complete the survey. Your feedback helps us in planning educational webinars and helps our speakers with their presentation skills. And Kate says thank you.
Thank you all.
We're getting thank yous. So I'd like to thank you all. Do you want to mention about this, Christy?
Yes, super quick. I mentioned it throughout, but this is a SAR template business case, which is situation assessment and a recommendation. If there's anything that you are wanting to advocate for, whether that be resources, whether that be contact information, whether that be additional headcount, this is a tool that helps you make a very clear business case for why you need more marketing resources. We will share this out. I'm going to share it with Marianne, but you can also access it. We'll have a landing page that it's linked to if you all want to download a copy for yourself.
And I will include that link in my email to all of you. Okay, we got thank yous, we got grades. I would like to invite you all to join us for our next webinar, which will be actually next Thursday, February 3rd. I can't believe it's February already. The webinar will be Boosting Immune Health Through a Prevention Approach with Cheryl Brown, who is a physical therapist and the programs director at Cooper Wellness Strategies. And we have more webinars coming up, so please visit the MFA website at medicalfitness.org for a complete list of topics, dates, and times. Thank you again for joining us today, and thank you to Christy for sharing your knowledge. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you so much.